Hey guys, thank you very much for clicking on this video. Today we are taking a look at Lucas Herbert's golf swing. Just won the Irish Open, pretty unique golf swing, so let's dive straight in and get started. There's a lot to kind of understand and take a look at in this golf swing. He does some really unique things which there'll be some kind of positives and negatives too. Wouldn't 100% recommend doing all of them, but let's dive in and start looking. We've got quite a few good looks at his golf swing. The first one we're going to look at is just a down the line iron. This looks to be about a 6 or 7 iron to my eye. And first of all, setup. Quite a unique setup. Some things to recommend, some things not. Quite a lot of knee bend, and we can see his hips are quite far behind his ankles. He's like sat back quite a lot. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. It gets your weight on your heels quite a lot. It's hard to really use your pelvis and kind of rotate accurately, and kind of also can lead to some early extension through the golf ball. He has good spine angle though, and great posture, and his alignment is great as well. But another thing to mention actually before we take this club back is actually look how kind of his hands are sat quite low. There's a bit of angle between his arms and the club shaft, so he kind of has already some low hands and quite a lot of wrists set, kind of almost before he's swung. And because of that, I'm guessing his clubs are probably quite a few degrees flat, because that club is definitely would be sitting flatter, the shaft of that club would be sitting flatter than like a standard iron lie angle. And as we take this back, let's just slowly take it back to parallel with the ground. If we pause it here, pretty standard backswing at this point. If you watched my pivot versus turn video recently, there's going to be a few things we're going to mention here to do with that video. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out on my channel. We kind of had a look at Victor Hovland's golf swing and Tiger Woods, and kind of the different ways to pivot and turn in the golf swing. A bit more turn in Lucas's golf swing, because we can see that right knee already kind of starting to move to turn towards us, really, to actually that right knee is turning. And as we take this back to the top, brings it back on a beautiful plane, nicely in front of him, gets that club really laid off. If we pause it at the top, well, we're going to pause it actually just before the top, because some interesting things are going to happen quite quickly, which we're going to dive into in a second. But before we do that, let's have a look, start from the ground up, lower body. He's in a pretty good position here. He actually kind of reminds me a little bit like Dustin Johnson in terms of the leg work. Kind of, I don't know about you guys, but as I look at his like from the ground up there, it looks quite similar to me to like DJ in the leg work, but very different arm structure. That right knee has turned a little bit towards us, but he's also pivoted because we can see the angle in his hips, and the left knee is, a lot of bend in the left knee, and he still has a bit of flexion in the right as well. Good shoulder turn and everything like that. If we take a look at the arm structure now, that right elbow, quite a lot of bend in it. Also the right elbow is quite far away from his body. He gets the hands quite high up above his shoulder plane. And a lot of wrist set. The left wrist is slightly bowed, but quite a lot of wrist set. Gets the club quite laid off. The kind of high hands and a very laid off club face with a lot of wrist set. And as we start to swing down, some really interesting things are going to happen quite quickly here. So I'm just going to talk you through what's about to happen. The club is actually still going to move behind him back to the top, but he's going to start firing the lower body quite quickly. And this is kind of the perfect example of like a whip action, because if you throw a whip back, you tend to throw the handle forward whilst the tail end of the whip, whilst the tip of the whip is kind of still moving backwards. So that's what we're going to see here, and how it's going to help him generate some power. So let's just have a look. We'll just play this really slow on the way down. So we're going to see that club moving to the top, but look at the lower body. The club's moving to the top, but the lower body's firing so quickly, and he gets a huge amount of lag. Look at this. If we pause this here, that is so much lag. That club is almost touching his like right arm. That is just a crazy amount of lag. And look how the lower body and the entire body is starting to rotate really hard but he actually gets his arms in a pretty decent position in terms of like the right elbow's below his left arm, so he's shallowing the club with the arms whilst he's rotating. And if we continue, and also we can see a bit of squat into the ground here, if we continue to play this really slowly, huge amount of lag, and as we pause it, let's pause it parallel to the ground, and in order to make this lag work for him, he's going to have to allow that to catch up, and this is what's about to happen. He gets into a great position here parallel to the ground. For a lot of people who got that much lag, they probably wouldn't be able to square up the club face. It would be quite difficult. They'd probably lose a lot of shots right. And he's also quite open to the target here. We can see his hips starting to open to the target and a lot of pressure going into his left foot. Right heel's come up off the ground. The face of the club is pretty close to his spine angle, a little bit open compared to his spine angle, but pretty close. And as we play this down into the ball, if we kind of pause it at impact, he gets into a really good impact position. And that's kind of something, a bit of a trend we notice with a lot of these great players, is that even though they all swing the club differently, backswing, takeaway, everything like that, they all pretty much get into really good impact positions, really kind of consistently, and that's kind of the differentiator, that's what matters. We can see open hips, open shoulders, love that. No early extension. He's maybe a little bit cramped for him, doesn't have as much room as kind of through the ball as we'd like maybe, but pretty good. A lot of weight going through his left side. Right heel is up off the ground, but he's rolled onto the inside of his right foot, which I prefer to see, whereas like recently we've taken a look at some other players like Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, and their right heel just kind of moves up and into the ball, but this is actually rolling more on the inside. Now, as we play this through, we're going to see the hips and shoulders and everything are pretty much going to stop rotating quite quickly. Exits to the left, and he lets that club then catch up. And at the end of the swing, nice balanced finish, but his hips are kind of facing the target. They haven't over-rotated, which would have gotten the club in behind him. Let's just play this once or twice, guys, see how it looks. And you guys, if there's anything you think I've missed here, comment it down below, and I'd like to hear from you guys. I reply to all of your comments, and also give this video a like and thumbs up. So let's just play this back a few times. Just so much lag. It's that move from the top that really makes this swing quite kind of unique, I guess, quite iconic for Lucas. I wouldn't say there's a huge amount of other players who swing like this. I really do like how he keeps his posture pretty well through the swing, actually. And a good amount of rotation, uses the lower body well too. Really like that a lot. Now we're going to take a look at Lucas's golf swing from front on with an iron. Let's take a look at this. So here we have Lucas hitting an iron from front on. This again I think is about 7 iron, and there's a few really interesting things to be able to understand about this swing. We're going to be able to see, first of all, how much lag he has on the way down. But let's just take a look at the setup. Setup, pretty good setup position here. Pretty neutral. That the shaft of the club moves through the left arm, left shoulder. Really like to see that. Good. You know, those feet are pretty much identical to shoulder width apart. Pretty good there. And let's just say, let's play this club back slowly. Watch this little like trigger movement he has here. A little shift laterally. Little kind of forward press of the hands and shift laterally onto his right side, and then as we pause it, let's pause it parallel to the ground. Good position here. A lot of the best players in the world get into quite a similar position here from this angle. We can see good triangle with the shoulders and arms, good kind of takeaway with the arm, with the body, using the body to take the club away instead of the hands and arms. And big, if we take it to the top, big shoulder turn here. He sets the wrists actually fairly late in the golf swing. Big shoulder turn. As we start to get to the top, he's also going to start to shift weight left laterally quite early, but if we pause it at the top, or we'll pause it almost just before the top when the club's kind of parallel with the ground, very, very good position. Great spine angle, nicely away from the target, but he started to shift weight left onto his left side. You can see he's turned back into that right hip. Really like to see that. Great width of the hands and arms. A lot of wrist set, and that's only going to increase. And yeah, pretty good there. If you guys notice anything else there, Yeah, feel free to comment it down below. Big shoulder turn too. And as we start to play this down, he's gonna watch this move. He really shifts left more, fires the hips so quickly, gets that lag on the club. And if we pause it, let's just pause it when the club is really close to his right arm. We can see how much lag he has there. It's just crazy amount of lag. And then as we come through the ball, he's obviously going to have to get rid of that, but he will still have a lot of shaft lean. If we pause it just after impact, we can see he's gotten rid of the shaft lean by this point. That club is now, the shaft is now back in line with his left arm, and we can also see his body very open to the target, hips facing the target, and all that weight going through his left heel, left side. We can actually see his left foot starting to roll and onto the outside. And if we play this through, watch this. He's going to release the club pretty hard, but watch his left heel spins out a little bit, releases that pressure going through there as he swings through to that balanced finish. And at the finish, hugely rotated with his left side, with his shoulders, and we can see obviously all his weight on his left foot, on his left heel. Just play this back once or twice for you guys so you can take a good look at it. He gets that set quite early, shifts weight onto the left side, then as he gets to the top, he fires so quickly from the top. It is pretty, it would be difficult to swing like that for a lot of people, to let the arms, to get them to actually catch up with everything else. And now let's just take a look at this, the same club from down the line on this exact same day. The beautiful down the line look we've got here of Lucas's swing. And if we play the club back slowly, pause it parallel to the ground, that's a really good position there. I like a lot to do with that position. Club matches spine angle really nicely. Yeah, just beautiful position there. If we play this to the top, big wide takeaway, really like that. Lower body's in a great position here. If we pause it at the top, I love that leg work, great leg structure, looks really good there. Big shoulder turn, great arm structure as well. Gets that club really quite open and laid off. I kind of wonder if he maybe has a slightly weak left hand grip. It's hard to really see from this angle. But as he swings down, we're going to see a bit more lag coming down, and see shifts that weight left and rotates so hard, so much lag coming down. If we pause it parallel to the ground here, we can actually see, I think Lucas probably hits a fade as his stock shot, just looking at the positions he gets into, because here club is pretty much on plane, maybe just outside, but a bit of an open club face here. It would be tough to be able to hit a draw with Lucas's golf swing. So as he gets here, and then if we play it down into the ball and pause it at impact, great position again, really nice rotation, great spine angle, like that a lot, rolled onto the inside of the right foot, a lot of weight and pressure going left, really compresses the ball down into the ground. And then as we play this through slowly, extends the arms hard, releases the hands, moves them left, and comes to that nice balanced finish position. Now let's just play this back again once or twice for you guys. It is a great look at his swing. I mean, what do you guys think of Lucas's swing? It's pretty interesting. I can't say there's a lot I would copy from it. There's a few things, actually. That's probably not fair. There's quite a few things, and I'll go through those things with you at the end of this video to say, you know, what you should maybe look at copying or incorporating into your own swing from this. And we'll just take one more quick look at Lucas's swing. This is a pretty good angle too. We'll start off with the down the line on this one. We're pretty nicely down the line. I'm just going to play this back slowly for you guys. So he gets that big wide takeaway, big shoulder turn like that, maintains his spine angle well, and on the way down, huge lag and rotation, and really gets onto that left side to compress the golf ball. Let's just play this back a few more times for you. Huge big wide takeaway, gets onto his left side, compresses the ball really beautifully, rolls onto the inside of his left foot really nicely. Like to see that a lot. Let's have a look from front on in this one, and as we play this through, we're going to notice again, big wide takeaway, shifts weight early to the left, then shifts it back quite early as he gets that lag coming down, compresses the golf ball so hard. Let's take another look here. And just, yeah, it's pretty impressive. I mean, I would like to see him hit at the range because he looks like he really compresses the golf ball hard by the angle he's coming down and in at the golf ball. To really good look. So that is Lucas Herbert's golf swing. Let me know, guys, what you think of that, what you would copy. A few things I like about it. Legwork is great. The legwork is really good. He has a little bit of turn, but he also has quite a lot of pivot. I'd say kind of more pivot than turn, really. But I like the way the legs move, pretty good there. Uses the ground well. Really, you know, doesn't early extend at all. Rolls onto the inside of that left foot. I like that a lot. A few things I maybe wouldn't copy. I recommend at the setup not getting quite so sat back on your heels, not so much bend in the knees. But he does a good job of managing this. He maintains his posture really well. His posture is great at setup, and he does a good job of maintaining his posture and his spine angle well through his swing. Few other things, I wouldn't recommend getting quite so much lag in your swing. He gets a little bit narrower at the top and then more narrow on the way down. I wouldn't recommend that because it's very difficult to square up the face. It's very difficult to like catch up the club with the body when, like, obviously we can see that from the top he kind of fires the hips so early whilst the club is still moving to the top. And that can be a bit dangerous because, you know, it can be a good power move, it can generate some power and speed, but it's going to be maybe a little bit more inconsistent than some other moves, like, you know, I would just prefer a slightly wider golf swing with a little bit less lag coming down into the ball. Personally, for me, would be more consistent and you could still get that speed. But he does a good job with this. It's also important to note, if you have that much lag in your golf swing, you kind of have to, and you rotate the body so early, you have to stop rotating in order to let the arms and club catch back up. If you keep rotating, you'll just get them far too deep. You'll never be able to square up the face, and you'll just get your arms stuck behind you, and it's going to lead to loads of missed strikes and not very good positions there. So, guys, that is Lucas Herbert's golf swing. Comment down below, what do you think of this swing? Is there anything I missed in this video? I'd love to hear from you guys. I'll reply to all your comments down below, so comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Free to do. I put out loads of great content of all the best golf swings in the world. Check some of them out on my channel. Also follow me on Instagram, Mike's 3D Life on Instagram. Put out loads of great content on there. Like this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. As always, guys, grip it and rip it.